Good morning, everyone. This is Lori coming to you live from Lori's Wellness Loft. And for those of you who are joining me for the first time, I am a health and life coach, and my goal is to come on daily to give you little coaching gems that you can start applying to live a happier, healthier life now. So good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. I normally don't hop on a Monday, but I've got to say, I have been chomping at the bit to come on to talk to all of you today about none other than, hello, Amy and Molly and Nikki, anxiety. So anxiety is a topic that not everybody gets excited about, but let me tell you something. If anybody on this live has ever experienced anxiety, stick with me, because I am going to really change the way you look at it and make you realize, number one, it's not your fault. And number two, you can control it with certain tools. So thank you all for being on. And for those of you, if anybody's ever suffered with anxiety, drop me a 4 in the comments below, please, because I usually do 1 or 2 for helpful. Drop me a 4 and let me know if I'm speaking to the choir. So my personal story with anxiety. I want you to know I am no stranger to anxiety. I used to have tremendous issues with anxiety and panic attacks and all kinds of horrible things years and years ago. And I'm not saying that I don't have tendencies towards being anxious, but now I know what my anxiety is telling me. Okay, so what I ask people when they come into the coaching room, I ask them, if your anxiety had a voice, what would it say? And they kind of look at me like, if my anxiety had a voice, I'm like, yes. What would your anxiety say? Number one, what they normally tell me is slow down. Okay? Number two, what they tell me is something is wrong. Okay, so I normally find with my clients, with myself, when I am experiencing anxiety, it's my body telling me, number one, something is wrong, or slow down, and number two, you're on the wrong path. Okay, so on the wrong path meaning you're just going about something differently than what your body wants you to do right now. I'm not saying you have to divorce your husband, quit your job, move, pack up. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you have to just look at what you're doing. So let's just look at how the body today is being asked much more than the body of, let's say, 100, 200 years ago. So think about stimulation today and how many things. Hello, Alyssa. Hello, Dana. How are you? We're talking about anxiety. Not to make you anxious, but thank you, Lizzie. Thank you, Amy, for being honest and telling me you have dealt with anxiety. Listen, anxiety is not a diagnosis. Anxiety is a feeling. We feel anxiety like we feel anger, sorrow, pain, frustration. It's a feeling. And if we listen to these anxious feelings, they are here to help us and to serve us. When we let them run rampant like children with scissors, that's when we get in trouble. So going back to 200 years ago, think about this, guys. You're your great-grandmother, and you wake up 200 years ago. Think of how different her life was from your life. Let's just bear with me. She wakes up, it may still be dark out. She might light a candle. She may then go outside and pull an egg out from under the chicken's butt. She's going to go inside. Now she's going to light a fire to cook this egg, and she might press some coffee, which the process of making breakfast may take her an hour. All right? Us, boom, 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 we're in, we're out, like in the amount of time it took her to go out and make a breakfast, we have already done 20 things. Okay, stimulation, the alarm clock, the email, the kids, the this, the that, people pulling out in front of you in traffic. Okay, then that grandmother may have spent the morning, getting the house ready, maybe taking a break at lunchtime, making lunch for the family, then maybe sitting on the porch, knitting or reading or doing something very calm. She may have walked around outside in the garden, where we are just going slammed back to back meetings, obligations. We are just totally on sensory overload 24/7. Does anybody agree? Is anybody out there on sensory overload 24/7? Thank you for being honest. Those of you who are giving me the thumbs up comments. So now what we need to realize is this. Our brains are no different than that brain of your great-grandmother living 200 years ago. But think about this. What we are experiencing in the course of a day is the same thing that woman experienced in an entire lifetime 200 years ago. So the only thing that is the same between us and that 200-year-old woman is the fact that we have the same brain and the same nervous system. So it's up to us to monitor and to regulate how much we are going to allow in. So if you are a very sensitive person, okay, I'm a very sensitive person. I experience my environment. I really experience what's going on. What I eat, what I drink, what I'm involved in, the people I'm involved in. I'm very sensitive. Some people are very dense, where it takes a lot to get into them. So people who are very energy sensitive have to even be more aware of how much stimulation that they are putting into their system in the course of a day. Does anybody get what I'm saying? So what I tell people is this. The whole thing with anxiety, it's a very interesting concept. When you go to the doctor or to a psychiatrist with anxiety, there's no way of measuring it. There's no test, there's no machine. It's not like you can put a blood pressure cuff on and say, okay, Lori, you're a 10 on the anxiety scale from 1 to 10. You're up there. There's no way to regulate it. The only way to regulate it is what you are telling your doctor or your therapist. Does anybody agree with me? So the thing is, the reason why I love working with people with anxiety, and I've realized how much people are really benefiting from this by how much feedback I'm getting from these services that I am offering right now. The advanced energy healing that I do in my treatment room is an energy modality where I am actually able to, from my training, I am actually able to tune in to your energy and to tell you where you are on that 1 to 10 range. And the interesting thing is, like, 80,000 people in America have anxiety. But this is the thing I'm going to challenge. How many people have not reported their anxiety? Because I can tell you this, 90% of the people who come into my treatment room, when I put my hands on them and I'm testing their energy to see where they are, 90% of them are off the charts as far as anxiety. They don't even know they have anxiety because they are so used to going through all day, every day in this hyper arousal state. They just think that's normal, okay? And it's not normal to be at the end of your rope all day, every day. So how do you know if this is going on with you? You'll know you're suffering from anxiety if you have difficulty calming, if you cannot sleep, if you are very short-tempered and you just fly off the handle for any reason, if you have, I was saying, I have one nerve left and you're on it, like, you will know. If you have rapid heartbeat, if you're easily agitated, if you're just not feeling yourself. Okay, so then what do you do? What I do for my clients that have anxiety or that are suffering from anxiety, we do a treatment that is very gentle, very calming, very effective. But what it does, so that I don't confuse you, it actually restarts the fight or flight response. So I tell people what happens is when you come into the treatment room, okay, it's a very calming treatment. You don't have to get undressed. You can stay completely clothed, and we do this treatment where I'm testing your neurolymphatic stress points in your body. So I'm just touching points in your body. I'm seeing how far up the scale you are registering. And most people, I put it between a 1 and a 10. All right, so say you're a 10, you're off the charts. We're going to restart your stress response, because a lot of times people just get into this negative loop where your brain just defaults to anxiety. Anytime something happens, your brain, which doesn't know any different, it just knows, oh, Lori likes to be anxious. Whenever anything happens, I just default to anxiety. And you get into this loop, this negative thought loop, where what I do then with you is we turn it off. I tell people it's like I'm going to your circuit breaker and I'm turning it off and rebooting it. It's almost like when you call Comcast and you go, my receiver isn't working right. Or you call Apple and you say, my phone isn't working right. I don't know what's wrong. The first thing they say, turn it off and then on again. And sometimes that corrects the problem. Our body is very similar. We have all these electrical currents running through our body. So sometimes we can rationalize all we want. But if our brain is short-circuiting and sending these synapsing nerves out into the body and we have pins and needles, guess what? We're not going to know how to correct that. So that's what happens when you come in for an advanced energy healing technique. And it's very gentle. I'm actually asking my clients to write testimonials. And I don't know if you saw one over the weekend I had a couple clients that wrote testimonials about how their energy totally corrected after one treatment. I treat people from the age of 4 all the way up to the age in the 80s that come in for these treatments. So it is for anyone who suffers from anxiety. If you are interested and you would like to know more about that, please get in touch with me. If this was helpful, people, please, this is the time of year. Fall is the time of year, unfortunately, where if you do have tendencies to be more anxious, it starts to become more heightened now with the change of season and with the darker weather and the seasonal affective disorder. So please, if this has been helpful for you and you would like to introduce others to my work, please hit that little share comment below. And also, if this was helpful, drop me a 1 in the comments below. If I lost you and you don't get it, drop me a 2 in the comments below. And if you have any personal questions about anxiety that you would like to ask me personally, either write them in the comments below or call me at 609-561-LORI. I would love to answer each and every one of your questions. Have a happy, healthy Monday, and I will talk to you soon.